Today I fucked up by high-fiving my husband before his vasectomy. I have 3 kids. Both the older 2 have neurodivergencies. My youngest is 6 months old. I have fertility issues, so it took me about 4 or 5 years between kids to get pregnant. As soon as we found out we were having our 3rd, my husband made an appointment for a vasectomy because we knew we were done. Her due date was in November, but with COVID, it took almost 10 months to get an appointment. The surgery itself wasn't available until May. After her birth, the nurses left us with, "Bye. See you again next time." Nope. No, just no. We laughed and said no way. We were making steps to prevent that. That's what they all say. We get home and my neighbor goes, "Ah, she's so sweet. Ready for the 4th? Absolutely the F not." He goes, "The 4th is always the one that sneaks up on you." Not going to happen. With my fertility, I was lucky to have kids at all. May comes along. We did it. His vasectomy was the next day. We were sitting in bed watching a movie and I said, "Thank God. We made it. No more babies." And proceeded to high-five each other. The next morning, for giggles, I took a test because I had extra TTC for over a year, so I had a huge bag. We were laughing and joking and forgot about it. Went in an hour later to 2 lines. Yeah. A positive. That couldn't be. Maybe the tests were old? Maybe an evap line? We joked about it some more, but just in case I took another. Positive. Again. Ran to the store to buy a fresh one. Also positive. Guys, we wore condoms, we avoided possible ovulation windows. We did everything in our power besides abstinence to prevent a baby. I'm convinced I got pregnant through that high five. Literally the only explanation. Too long did not read. I prematurely high-fived my husband before his vasectomy to find out I'm pregnant again. Imagine how surprised they'll be when the 4th and 5th are a 2-for-1 combo. The 5th one. GIF. Giphy, 7P7Z3VXUCRNCW. Congrats? After we had baby number 4 I scheduled a vasectomy. The doctor said it usually takes 3 months to shoot blanks and recommended coming in for a semanalysis 60–90 days from the procedure. My wife was done with IUDs and pills, so we were in a precarious situation. It took 9 months and repeated tests before the doctor office said, "No sperm is detected." Wow, that took a really long time. Now I understand how a couple gets pregnant after the husband's been snipped. Oh, and if you don't want number 5, make sure he gets tested for his sterility. When the 5th one comes after the vasectomy, he's gonna start to suspect something. I'm convinced I got pregnant through that high five. The Todd approves. Today I fucked up by misusing a whiteboard for 1.5 years. I bought a whiteboard when I moved into my new and current house. This was supposed to be the ultimate pièce de résistance to my awesome new home office. It took a few months to ship, and when it finally did, I was pretty unhappy with it. First of all, there was this big crack behind it, bending the metal in an unsatisfying way, but it wasn't that noticeable, so I didn't bother sending it back. The worst, though, was that it was near impossible to write on it without leaving ghost marks. And you can forget about letting some writing on it more than 24 hours. As a result, I wound up not using it for most of the last year. Basically, his only purpose was as a magnet holder, when it should have been used for so many different projets. Today, as I finally had some free time, I looked into the process of cleaning my whiteboard, and making it more usable. As I applied some store-bought cleaner, I found this small tear in some kind of plastic coating. I freaked out, ripped it all out, and came to the horrifying conclusion that I spent 1.5 years writing on plastic. And #X200B. I now have a brand new, unused board that has been sitting in my office. And #X200B. Too long did not read. Bought a whiteboard. Forgot to take the plastic layer off and took way too long to figure it out. So I had a shitty whiteboard that I used for a bit but then just left in a closet after my most recent move. Turns out this is why it was shitty, ha 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 ha. My mom complained about the buttons on her oven and the display looking so crappy. I looked closely and found she had left the protective plastic on for over a year. Love it. This is magnificent. Tears of joy. My mum does this but on purpose? She's left the plastic wrapping on everything to take care of it. The fridge, dishwasher, TV. If it came with it, it has it. Had a similar thing happen in college. Bought a microwave when I moved in, and 3 years later, while high as fuck and staring at my microwave, I realized that the blue metal on it was a bit wrinkly. Peeled it back to find a stainless steel microwave. For some stupid ass reason I thought my microwave was blue and black. And for those wondering, no, I did not graduate. I did the same thing with the number pad on my microwave. I was upset that the pad was disintegrating in the well-used parts. Just realized the plastic was still there a short time ago. Today I fucked up by playing a gross prank at my high school. I, 16 male, and a friend thought it'd be a funny prank to pour a gallon of pig manure into the trash can in one of the classrooms at my school. Sort of a senior prank, except not as seniors. And he works at a pig farm, so he had easy access. He handed me a big jug of it. I snuck into class early and held my breath, poured it in the trash and ran off. And it had a bigger impact than I thought. Kids refused to enter the classroom at all, and even the adjacent room was evacuated and they had to shut it down. Sadly, I got caught. And instead of an out-of-school SU pension, the proposed punishment was 1 day ISS, in school suspension, but in the same room that trash can had been moved into. A small, rarely used storage room disconnected from the rest of the school. I begged my parents not to allow that and to let me take the suspension instead, but they wouldn't budge and said it was very fair. I, truthfully, said I didn't know how bad this prank was. I've never been around pigs. I thought they would have just gone, "Ew, gross," and changed the trash and that would be that, but apparently not. So on Friday, I was given my day's worth of schoolwork with instructions, and taken to the room for my ISS. There was the trash can, pulled up right next to my desk. The stench was overpowering and had filled the room with the most sour, rancid manure smell I've ever experienced. It felt like I could taste it. I held it together as best as I could, but I sure didn't get much work done. I thought I'd grow accustomed to it with time, but I felt like that vile smell kept pounding away and eating at me throughout the day. I tried to take a bathroom break every hour to catch my breath and calm down, but somehow I felt I could still smell it even in there. And even now, my backpack somehow still smells of pig manure and parents are making me keep it in the garage. Too long did not read. Got caught pranking class with pig manure, had to spend my ISS in a room with it. Way harder than I thought. Your mom definitely posted on Anther Reddit. Maybe am I the asshole? I'm surprised your school didn't just throw the entire trash can into the dumpster and get a new one. Super fair punishment. Sounds like you learned a lesson. I remember seeing the "Am I the asshole" version of this before your punishment was served. I'm glad you survived, but that it was quite the powerful little stink you had to endure. I bet that lesson will stick with you for some time. And unlike an OS, won't show up to colleges. This is why I don't understand why everyone is always so dismissive of that mucking punishment they use in parts of Eastern Europe, whenever it gets mentioned on this site. Saying, "Oh, it's 1 day, it's way better than jail." Guys, this is the effect of just being near a single gallon of pig slurry for a day. Poor kid can still smell it on his backpack. Can you even imagine having wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow of it pouring onto you, while you can't move, do anything to get it off, and then having to just sit in it? There's no way you could bear it. Who did you think was going to have to clean it up after your prank? Better yet, do you even care? Edit. Change defecation to animal excrement. This person makes an account every few weeks and posts about their animal excrement fetish. They took mucking and used it to mean being covered in animal shit. Then they made a post about fox urine. Same writing style. Not that it really matters, I just find it interesting. Today I fucked up by wearing a shawl to a wedding. Obligatory. This happened a few days ago. My husband and I are invited to a wedding, and in the spirit of a little modesty I brought a shawl with me to wear over my dress. The shawl was a white cream with an abundance of floral patterning, so despite the long argued, what counts as white, I thought it was still kosher to wear. Wedding went off beautifully, we're safely home, and I'm doing laundry. As I'm hanging the shawl to dry, I notice the floral pattern isn't as random as I thought. Not only is it not random, but the patterning is letters. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This shawl says bride on it in big floral lettering. I don't know how I missed it. I am absolutely mortified. I am now praying to anyone who will listen that it was wrinkled up, upside down and backwards enough that no one put the letters together. Too long did not read. Gambled on wearing something white-ish to a wedding. Ended up doing something much worse and wearing something that said, bride, on it. Lol. As a recent former bride, this is a funny story. Don't feel weird, it's a hilarious accident. Is your name Kelly Capper? Just say you wore it to cheer on the bride. It's like wearing your favorite baseball player's jersey to the big game to cheer them on. Could be worse. One of my high school friends bought a ring to propose to his sweetheart right after graduation. Never questioned why a gold ring was on sale in June. After about 6 months of engagement, his fiancée looked down at the ring and noticed an M pattern on each side of the stone. With the round diamond, it spelled, Mom. He tried to tell her to turn it upside down so it read, Wow. They did not wind up getting married. Edit. Typo. Head over to Am I the Asshole to see what the bride and thousands of internet strangers say about it. HDHDH bruh how.